As of 2 weeks ago, the trend in the futures market for Major League Baseball, the most notable changes before the trade deadline, the Detroit, the LA Dodgers moved up from 4 to 2, so their odds halved. The Tigers at 40 to 1, then they're 6.5 to 1, and the Philadelphia Phillies. Dodgers had the highest ticket, followed by Tigers and Phillies. So lots of action on Detroit, Philadelphia, and the Dodgers. And the Tigers dominated the AL Pennant futures market with the highest ticket percentage and the highest handle. This makes them the biggest liability, but this is not a concern whatsoever. So they roughly break even when you account for the payouts for the Tigers and you take into account the rest of the handle. Yankees are always popular. The Blue Jays were a sleeper. Basically, what they're worrying about is if the Tigers win the World Series. That's one thing that they can't have happen is the Tigers winning the World Series, but the Tigers make it to the World Series, then more and more money would be bet on them to win the World Series, so they don't mind having the Tigers in the World Series. Padres and Mariners had the two biggest trade deadlines. Draft Kings report San Diego has taken the most money since the trade deadline. Not for the season. The Mets were the second, next closest because of their bullpen acquisitions. And then on ESPNbet, it was the Mariners that have taken lots of action. Most bet team on ESPNbet. People place their bets on the trade deadline, teams with the best moves, but this hardly makes a difference for the biggest liability of the year, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They still stay at plus 240. They don't go up to plus 300 or plus 400 because suddenly a couple other teams have gotten a lot of action. They're still staying at plus 240. So by and large, the Dodgers are still the biggest liability of the season. The Padres in their 57th season making it to the World Series. They have 24 playoff wins, or 7-8 in the playoffs. 78 would be gematria of facing off against the Tigers in the World Series should they meet in the World Series against the Tigers. So 2 wins in the wild card round, they get the 26. 3 in the divisional, they get the 29. The Padres can enter the World Series with 33 playoff wins in their history. It's Tigers that's gematria of 33. They could get their 37th win by beating Detroit in the World Series. And as I've said before, the Tigers can fall to 4-8 in the World Series. I think it is Padres that is 48 in gematria. The Padres equals 48. So the key pointers, Padres will be 10-8 in the playoffs. I'm not sure what the 18th playoff series overall is about. But how many wins since losing the World Series? I've mentioned they're going to make it to the World Series 27 years later. Padres is 27. How many wins since losing to the Yankees would they win the World Series? So they have 13 at the moment. So their 26 win the playoffs since losing the World Series against the Yankees would be to win their next championship. Because if you play in the wild card round, you need 13 wins to win the championship instead of 11 if you don't play in the wild card round if you have a bye.